Avast me hearties, yo-ho! Welcome to Mystara, where it's time to hoist the black flag and start slitting throats. We're traveling to the Hollow World to look at one of the setting's most intriguing yet underutilized nations, the Merry Pirates, a loose confederation of buccaneers thrown together in an experiment by the immortal Koratuko, who is showing more and more he has no idea what the actual purpose of the Hollow World is. You see, when a certain type of pirate becomes prevalent in the world above, the trickster patron grabs a few of them and sends them to the Hollow World to join his collection, which is about to start causing massive problems for everyone else. I'm Mr. Welch, and it's time to answer the one question everyone has always pondered. Who would win in a straight-up fight, Themistocles or Blackbeard? Yeah, I am not doing the entire video in that voice. That is murder on my throat. The Merry Pirates are unique in the Hollow World as they don't represent a single nation's culture, but rather a cross-section of freelance nautical acquisition specialists over the years. They started when Koratico decided if he could build a nation comprised entirely of pirates, so he grabbed the local flavor in the Traldar variety during the time of Halav, and stuck them on the Anathi archipelago that marked the borders of the northern and southern Atlas Oceans. They were conveniently located near the Millennian Empire, the Azcan Empire, the Traldar Kingdoms, and the nation of Shadjapur. They were about to redefine those nations' definition of bad neighbors. They raided anyone and everyone, going after shipping, coastal towns, and any targets of opportunity they could find. But Koratuko wasn't done yet. Every 200 years, he started adding new cultures of pirates to his collection. As the years progressed, the diversity of the pirates soared. He transported Thaetian privateers, Hin buccaneers, Icelandic Vikings, and Yalari corsairs to join in the fun. But that's when he started to break the rules of the Hollow World. When the new additions were added, he changed the spell of preservation so they would merge their cultures into the existing Merry Pirate society. Freshly transported pirates would adopt the custom of whatever style pirate ship that hired them on. A Yalari pirate would start acting like an Icelandic marauder if he joined their crew, and the rowdiest berserker from that ship would adopt the Yalari customs if the roles were reversed. The only thing the pirates had in common was their profession. Eventually, the culture started to merge into a swashbuckling gestalt from all the additions. This is about to cause enormous problems for the Hollow World, as the pirates have started to emerge as the most technologically advanced nation except for the isolationist Blacklore elves, at least until the addition of Alphatia. Koratico keeps adding new cultures of pirates to the country. Those crews are bringing their ships, and more importantly, the advances made in nautical engineering since the last batch of pirates were added. Following the pattern of Koratico adding pirates every 200 years, the newest variety of pirates was from the Savage Coast. And that means you've got the most modern ships of the line about to start raiding sailing ships that became obsolete on the surface centuries ago. It's not that many modern ships, but considering the pirates will begin to absorb the new pirates and their methods into the existing mold, you can see the problem coming fast. The Millennian Empire still uses crew-rowed triremes. The Merry Pirates were just gifted a 28-gun Villa Verdun privateer. The pirates also break the spell of preservation by instantly converting recruits into their culture. If they capture a ship, any crew member that volunteers to join up with the pirates immediately becomes part of the pirate culture, leaving their old ways behind. This process normally takes a year to achieve, with severe penalties in terms of reduced experience points. Koratiku handwaves the culture penalty, and the change from Azcan fisherman to Scourge of the Seas is instantaneous. The other immortals have agreed to this, despite breaking the idea behind the Hollow World. It also might be such a rare or minor event that they don't care much. The decision to switch must be made of the new pirates' free will. They can't be pressed into service, threatened with death, or used as a galley slave. When asked, they want to be a pirate of their own free will. This is a glorious event for the pirates, who laud their new member and treat him as one of their own. Then they make him scrub the deck, because he's still a swabby. As I've stated, the one thing the Merry Pirate captains have in common is they all have the same job. The list tends to stop there. No actual laws are holding them accountable if they're at sea, with one or two exceptions. On land, the mayor of each town dictates the laws, but if the rules are too strict, the mayor can be replaced with a more accommodating one. In the same vein, a pirate captain that is especially cruel to his crew, or worse, cheats them out of their share, risks a mutiny. A mutinous crew does not automatically earn the distrust of the other pirates. It all depends on if they can prove if the ship's charter was broken. By a strange quirk of their culture, all pirates are skilled in contractual law as their culture lives on it. By extension, the literacy rate among pirates is one of the highest in the Hollow World, and by a large margin. Every ship has a charter, a complicated legal form that dictates every aspect of a voyage. It explains in no uncertain terms how much will get paid out, the forms of compensation in case of death or injury, work expectations of the crew, the different offenses and punishments for them, and the chain of command and how promotions work in case of casualties. Every potential crewman that asks will get a copy of the charter to look over and determine if they want to be part of the ship. Charters are a serious business with the Merry Pirates. Breaking one is usually punishable by death unless the charter stipulates a different punishment. A captain with a reputation for playing fast and loose with the rules of his charter will find himself without a crew next voyage. Illiterate sailors will have a trusted friend read the charter to them so they can decide if it's a good deal.
A captain that pays too much will not have a problem finding a crew, but could find himself unable to afford ship repairs. And one that doesn't pay enough will have to sail the ship by himself. Because of the charter system, most sailors will learn to read so that there is no miscommunication. Each ship is unique. Each captain runs it the way he wants. This can be along cultural lines, but the ship's cultures will often be a gestalt of all the various pirates. The captains run their ship the way they want, and they attract crews with similar tastes. The black-hearted demon of the waves that takes no prisoners if a ship resists will be filled with the most evil cutthroats. A gentleman pirate would attract the more adventurous types in it for fun and profit. Some pirates focus on a particular type of action, like raiding towns compared to seizing ships. An Icelandic pirate might have a crew that is all about pillaging villages compared to their Hin counterparts who prefer capturing merchant ships. Every type of piracy is found in the nation, and there's never a shortage of crews willing to try all of them. Though he's not officially canon, there is a wereshark pirate who committed such atrocities that he was actually pulled into Ravenloft, and was mentioned in the Fraternity of Mists, the rather excellent fan work that everybody should check out because it is really nice. The typical targets are the Azkans and the Millennians. They have the best mix of vulnerability and wealth that the pirates like. The Traldaran merchant ships are heavily guarded with well-trained crews. The Mackay villagers have little wealth, and the pirates actually like them. So they're left alone. The Shajapur ships are typically fishing vessels, a prize the buccaneers care little for. But the nation does have large treasure barges that the pirates would love to capture. But the barges are few in number, and because of their poor construction, rarely venture far from port. The Millennians and Azkans have the largest number of merchant vessels and the wealthiest towns. Because of those two factors, the pirates make a beeline to those coasts when launching a new voyage. The typical pirate ship is either a war galley or a sailing ship. The war galleys are impractical, requiring hundreds of rowers, and are hampered by a slow speed and instability on the open ocean. The sailing ships require less crew and are much safer and faster far from shore. The crews typically use catapults for the more stable galleys and ballistas for the faster sailing ships. Other ships can be found in their fleet, including longships from the Icelandic pirates, to the half-dozen modern warships from the recently relocated Savage Barony types. Those have actual cannons and are supplied with powder through Korotiko's interference. They are terrifying new additions to the pirate fleets, and most victims surrender to them on sight rather than put up a fight, which tends to annoy the captains. The pirate towns are raucous and rowdy locations where the merry pirates live up to their merry nicknames. Every city is open 24 hours a day, even during the rain when most people sleep. There is very little in the way of agriculture in the town. A few farms exist, but most food is brought in from seized ships. It's almost all service industry. There are shops to sell your goods, inns and taverns provide a warm bed and cold beer for the arriving crews. The brothels outnumber the temples in every town. The ports are expensive. Prices are artificially high and designed to quickly drain returning crews of their gold. Then the money acquired is used to build ships and hire new crews for another expedition. That expedition brings back more gold, which is spent in the town, and the cycle repeats, at least until the ship is lost at sea and the money spent is wasted. The laws of the various towns are whatever the current mayor decides they are. By their nature, the pirates are a chaotic lot, so they don't have a lot of laws as a matter of course. Most disputes are settled in duels, and depending on the conflict, it can range from being to the death or seeing who hits the floor first. A few universal laws exist. Attacking another pirate at sea is a serious offense in every settlement. The punishment can be surrendering part of a hull for an accidental misidentification to being left in a gibbet for intentionally attacking another ship. Now, if the attacked party was disguised as another ship to lure in prey, that's the exception to the rule. You have to be flying your flag for the restriction to apply. In rare cases, and only in the most grave ones, a jury of captains will be assembled to hear a case. These are for serious matters like murder, mutiny, or rape, and the penalty is death if convicted. The cases will always only involve parties from two different ships. If they came from the same ship, that ship's captain would handle the trial and punishment. There is no central authority on the islands. If someone can't behave himself, mob rule will usually settle the matter. Bear in mind, these penalties are only for offenses against other pirates. If Captain Grimdark Orphan Torturer sets a cruise ship filled with Sunday school classes ablaze, it's the kid's fault for being on that ship in the first place. As the merry pirates are a diverse lot, they worship quite a few immortals. The chosen immortals are patrons of luck, rogues, and the sea, as you would expect. Proteus, Sinbad, and Korotiko have the most temples and churches among the various islands. But the regular services are almost always empty. Pirates will seek a blessing before a voyage starts and might make a large donation if they return after a narrow escape. The temples also make a hefty profit curing pirates from wounds, injuries, and the occasional unexplained itch. They take care of pirates who can no longer care for themselves if their former crews can't or won't help. Thanks to that service, the temples are considered off-limits and neutral grounds by all the pirates. And even the evilest corsairs won't violate that rule, usually. But remember the part I said about mob justice. The majority of the pirates are men. It's a holdover from the tradition that women are bad luck at sea. Most women run the shops and inns on land. It's a strange quirk that the wealthiest individuals in the Merry Pirate Islands aren't pirates, but the women they won't let on their ships. Female pirates are rare but not unheard of. If a woman wants to be a pirate, her best option is to take the money she's been saving and buy her own ship. Then she writes a charter and signs up a crew. The charter protects her, as a baseless mutiny gets you hung. Once she's at sea, she has to prove herself like any other pirate. Granted, she's usually financed the entire expedition herself, so she stands to gain even more from a successful voyage.
The Merry Pirates are a strange nation.
They are the most powerful navy in the Hollow World without question. They are centuries ahead of every rival nation technologically. But they have no interest in expansion. They will attack towns, but they will never replace their governor, seize territory, or expand their borders. They are raiders, first, last, and always. It's not in their culture to empire build. They steal everything, go back and sell it, take that money, build a new boat. Every time Koratiku adds new pirates, they get even better. Eventually they will fully assimilate the latest pirates into their culture, and then the Hollow World will shake at the sound of cannons. The Merry Pirates never got the source book they deserved. Sad, because they were one of the more exciting options, even if you had the problem that no one liked them for obvious reasons. They were supposed to be this mishmash of piratical types from Rome to Blackbeard, but instead, they got turned into the Disney ride. Because the Disney ride was awesome. Now they're the faction that everybody tells you is OP and please nerf. Next week is the Religions of Karamikos. Time for an in-depth dive at everyone's favorite religious schism. Until then, why's all the rum gone?